do with our hands?
Is it playing the video?
I don't see a video.
I don't know if it's
What are
playing
we doing?
video.
What are we doing with our
You're getting
hands?
ads on this thing now too.
Oh,
Yeah.
what are we doing with our hands?
I don't know. Hey, y'all, we are here. It was supposed to play a video, but I don't think it's actually playing. Today, our topic is BAM Co-Angler Pro-Am Experience. We have Eric Lau and Jeff Matlock, who just got to experience the Shasta BAM Pro-Am. Initial thoughts. Good, bad? Would you do it again?
I would do it again. In fact, we are, I think, doing a couple of them coming up. We doing the Delta.
Yeah, you're doing a couple kayak, and then the next one's the Delta. We're not doing Don Pedro. I might.
Don Pedro's a good lake.
Don
it's
Pedro
been
is
fishing
the
really
next
well,
one, too.
And it
Yeah,
has been fishing really well.
It's a week after our club tournament. So,
Yeah, he's still trying to figure out if he wants to be married or not.
yeah.
You're retired. Just spend the rest of the days there at the house.
I
And
mean,
then
if I take
weekends
your
out.
advice, I'll buy another boat.
Yeah,
And then-
buy another boat so you can build a Delta and fish all these other places also. Right?
What's happening, Big John?
Just hopefully Rachel doesn't call my wife and say, hey, he's thinking
Hey,
about
John.
Don Pedro.
Right? Yeah. My wife will get on here and watch it.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
Had a blast.
You had a blast.
Had a blast.
So the initial, when you guys went in there, what were you guys expecting? Did you guys do any homework prior to going there? And you guys were fishing Lake Shasta. Have you guys ever fished Shasta before?
Never fished Shasta.
Never
before.
fished Shasta.
Never fished Shasta
Never
before.
fished
So
Shasta.
what kind of homework did you do to get yourself there into that back seat of a pro for the BAM tour?
So I think we both kind of did the same homework, trying to figure out what type of bass were there first off, and then trying to figure out what type of fishing it was. What we found out was it was kind of like the Narrows. It would fish like. So
At Berryessa.
At Berryessa.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked at the map and everything on the different arms there and read up on some of the type of fishing and some of the forage there. And I actually went even farther and got a hold of, we had a few of our, those guys that have come to our club meetings. And so
Like?
I'm usually pretty open. So I got a hold of Ryan Hall.
Okay.
I messaged Ken Maw, and I also messaged Billy Hines.
Okay.
All three of them were willing to talk. We called each other, and I spoke to each of them on the phone on different days, and super helpful with not so much the actual style of fishing order, but the process of the Pro-Am.
Yeah, the steps of it.
Yeah, because
Like,
even
when it before
starts,
what it does, all that.
and even before you fish, like, what should I ask my pro certain things, or is there certain off limits things not to ask? But also, just like prep, what should I bring, and how much gas money? And
That's also a good thing, right?
yeah, all three of them were really good about talking about that stuff, especially with their experience as a boater. But I think all of them have also done the co-angler thing before too, so they kind of got both sides of it, and super helpful. This was prior to the International Sportsman's Expo. So I actually spoke to a bunch of people there, and every one of them was helpful. I wrote down some names. I want to make sure I get everybody, but Bill O'Shin, Aaron Britt, Jake Boomer, Tony Franceschi, who we just had at our meeting.
Yeah.
That was another thing, is Irving was with us. So not only was I talking to them about BAM, but we were also hitting them up to come to the meetings. Chris Trumbull and Greg Gutierrez. Every one of those guys was super helpful. I think it's how you approach it too, like respectfully. And
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going there to. I mean, it's basically like a product, right? Like they need the co-anglers on there, right? So they're gonna want to help. Like the co-anglers is how you get into that tournament scene a lot of the time.
right.
Right? Like there are people that go straight to the front of the boat in those, but there's a lot of people who are co-anglers first. Get the lay of the land and then step into the boat.
Yeah, and I think it absolutely just helps promote the sport in general.
Yeah.
So no, they were all super helpful.
And realistically, going and fishing as an am on the back of some of these boats is like paying for a guided trip,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
Like, you can
Very much so.
find out a lot of information really fast. So you guys talked to all these pros. You kind of got a rundown. What was your next plan? Did you guys put together tackle packs? Did you talk to them on how much tackle you could bring?
Yes.
That's a big thing for me.
Yeah.
I like to
Brian
bring
brings a whole
tackle.
boat.
I like to bring tackle.
I brought the whole boat.
Well, I'll show you pictures later of Jeff and I in the hotel elevator, but Jeff had the little cart that you use for luggage and stuff to take it up to the hotel room, and it was full.
Why you gotta bring that up?
I'm just saying.
So
We
you're saying he
we
didn't
brought
bring it on the boat? At least he didn't
No,
bring it
he
on the
didn't.
boat. He just
Yeah.
brought it with to the.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind
He scaled it down.
of smart. I mean, in all reality,
Oh yeah.
if they say, "Oh, I'm going to be throwing this," he's going to be like, "Got that."
I got that in the hotel room. Yes. It took up some space.
Can you drop me off the shore? I need to go pick that up.
So that actually, Eric and I had talked, but in the actual rules for the coing, is you can bring a max of 8 rods. Most of the guys I spoke with suggested no more than like 6 because you end up starting to do like rod management over next to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Next to your seat. 8's way too many.
6 is a lot.
Yeah,
too.
I've always said for co-anglers, 5, and then like a 6th one is like your option.
Yeah.
But like in my boat, I have a whole rod locker that's completely empty. So like now it's like bring as many rods as you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
But like if you're gonna get on somebody else's boat who doesn't have a rod locker set aside, realistically, like that 5 to 6 can cover a lot of things. But I mean, if you start getting very, very specific, then yeah, I could see 8.
Yeah.
You know, you got a swim bait, a drop shot, like you don't have dual purpose rods that way.
And that was the thing with me was I made sure that I brought, so I took 7 rods the first day on the boat and I took 6 the next. But I made sure like my casting rods were rods that could do more than one thing. They were
Yeah.
pretty general type.
Multi-purpose.
Yeah. Medium heavy, 7 foot to 7'2" or whatever that could do different techniques.
Now, was that harder to plan that out from being a boater to a non-boater? Which rods you wanted to bring?
Yes.
It was very hard.
Yeah. Because a lot of times
How
you
many
have-
hours did it take of you just standing at the rods with them all lined up and being like, okay, I got to cut at least 2?
So
Yeah.
we had 2 or 3 conversations, and I think both of us the night prior to Friday, so Thursday night before the first tournament day, I think we had talked and maybe switched 2 or 3 rods every time we talked.
Yeah.
So we did a whole lot of switching that day.
I had taken 14 rods. So I knew I wasn't taking that many in the boat.
How'd you guys ride up there? You guys rode together, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You had 14 rods? How many rods did you bring?
I had 10.
So you had 24 rods in the truck.
Yeah, I mean they were in the.
Oh,
bed.
Under the bed.
All right. I was gonna say that's.
So that was the easy part.
Yeah.
The tackle was hard.
So you're telling me it was a good thing that you guys had a truck?
Well, it was a good thing that we both worked for UPS at some point, so we knew how to pack the truck.
Yes. Yes. It was, and you have a crew cab, so it was.
Yeah.
The back part of the cab was full.
But that's not, I mean, I'm not knocking that at all.
No.
Because in all reality, you don't know what you're going to get into until you get up there.
Yeah, and you want to be prepared.
Right.
So when you guys were talking to all these guys, were there any type of rules that they suggested to you as being a backseater?
Not casting up in front of the console
Okay.
was kind of the major one, and then just communicating with with the pro where you can fish and what he suggests as to what to fish.
Yeah, I would say it was pretty much across the board. All of them, be respectful. Don't cast forward to the console. They'll try their best they can to get you some water to fish, but as it is
It is what
sometimes.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they're literally paying what their entry's 800 and
About
It's like
800.
785 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
and they were fishing for 13,500 for
Yeah.
first place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they're
definitely-
fishing for like $4,000 or something.
yeah, I think it was 5
Yeah,
for the
5.
co-angler. Yeah. I mean, still good money, but
Yeah.
I mean, they're almost triple, right? So
Yeah.
double the price to get in. A lot of the guys, they're doing
Plus,
that.
it's their boat, their
Oh.
sponsors, their
Yeah.
And you guys,
Hey, Marlon.
you guys,
Let's have it, Marlon.
you guys had a meeting on a Thursday night.
Yes.
You guys have to go to.
Yes.
They highly suggested that you go
Well-
to it.
Was there any other like pre-trip stuff before that meeting that needed mention?
On our side or on
Yeah,
the
on your guys'
tournament
side.
side? Not
I
really.
just, well, the one thing, I'll tell you how this opportunity came up for both of us, I think, was, I don't know if you guys know, BAM put out a thing back in early December or
Yeah.
November that people that wanted to help set up, take down, weigh-ins, things like that, that they were willing to work with you on maybe covering your entry fees. So it's very enticing to,
So it's kind of like yeah, if you work for us, we'll pay you an entry fee.
correct.
Help
So
us help.
the
Yeah.
contact was their tournament director, Michael Bray.
Really good dude.
I think we had talked to him separately, but then we ended up talking one day when we went fishing at Berryessa.
Yep.
I said, "Hey, I looked into this," and you're like, "Oh, I already called the guy."
Yep.
So that's when the plan got set in motion that we were both going to fish, start at Shasta, and then hopefully do a couple more. But we got there early before the meeting on Thursday. Met with Mark Lassane, checked in. They take your photograph, and then at the meeting, we actually helped set up some stuff there. And I had never met Michael Bray in person before, just on the phone. So it was good to meet him. And everybody was just, it's a well-run organization. It's they're very well respected by everybody. It's well ran. It was pretty smooth. And for being a newcomer, it was, you always worry about the unknown, and it was a pretty simple process.
Yeah.
What's going on, Clayton?
What up? Good.
Clayton, long time no see.
Getsy's tagged in, Clayton's tagged in.
Rachel says us girls got to stick together. So
Yeah.
you might be in trouble.
I might be in trouble, yeah.
She ain't no switch though.
What was the recommendation for gas? Because you mentioned that there was a gas recommendation that they were kind of saying. What was there like a general consensus between all the people that you talked to, or was it kind of jumped around a little bit depending on who you talked to?
It was pretty close between $50 and $60.
Yeah,
A day?
yeah, per day. I heard anywhere from 40 to 60, and everybody kind of, like 50. And then one of the best things I heard, and I did this, and it worked out really well, was right in the morning, $50, either at the ramp or once we were on the boat, $50 right then, and I got it over with. And both of my boaters were like, "Already?" Like, "Yep, let's get it out of the way." Just makes it easier. And then you don't worry about the end of the day trying to guess how far did we run. Should I pay him this much? $50. It's a done deal.
Was that a suggestion that was given to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but for everybody I talked to, all the pros that I talked to, they were all right there. And actually,
I was just saying for the timing part of it.
100% of them were also at the same time. They're going fishing anyways.
Yeah.
So they don't expect it, but it also,
Yeah.
and we're all boat owners, right? So I know the feeling,
Yeah.
they're going to spend some gas, and
Yeah, the boats don't run on things.
No.
they don't.
But who was it that suggested to do it right at the start of the day just to get it over with? That way
A couple did, but I know Ken Mall was really big on he always just first thing in the morning, get it over with. He even
you don't
had
have to worry about forgetting any of that.
Right.
Stuff.
Yeah, you don't worry about forgetting. You don't have to do the whole, hey, we didn't.
Debate,
We went
yeah.
5 minutes from the ramp and spent all day there. Do I just give them $40 now, or we ran up all 3 arms of Shasta all day? Do I need to give them 100?
Yeah. The one thing is the co-angler doesn't really get to say how much running you do.
Right.
Like there's
Or
certain
no?
there's certain
No.
anglers that run a gun, and you'd be like, man, you'd spend the whole day. Am I paying for all this gas that we're running out? What's happening one hand fishing?
I always wonder what's the other hand doing.
I don't know.
Maybe he'll tell you.
So, all right. So you guys all planned. You went to the meeting, got some information of what's going on. First day, you guys got hooked up Thursday night with your guys' pros, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So you guys got it.
They shoot you a text or something?
Yeah, they shoot you a text after the initial meeting, and then after the first day of fishing, they'll shoot you another one with your next day pro.
So they shoot you a text. You message your pros and they give you a rundown of what you should be bringing at least maybe, or
How does that conversation
Yeah.
go when you're calling that pro? What was there advice of how that conversation could go, or how did you guys go about it?
We just initiated the conversation and just said, hey, what do you suggest? How many rods are you okay with bringing? Are you gonna have a rod locker for me? Do you need ice? Do you need water? That type of stuff.
Yeah, same thing. You're not, are we throwing crankbaits or I asked are we fishing fast or slow? So I can kind of set some stuff up, deep or shallow. And it was kind of like,
Yep.
Yeah, be ready for everything. But both of my guys actually kind of said how we were going to start, but what we'll end up probably doing. So that was helpful. At least to have a rod or two that I knew was going to start in the morning.
Yeah, you could at least you have something to start with. You're not retying as soon as you start.
Yeah, exactly. And both of them were, pretty helpful with that stuff. And, as far as what ramp to meet at, not only at Bridge Bay Marina, but a lot of guys went across the bay to Packers Bay it was.
Yeah, Packard Bay.
It's really close on the water. It's another 10-minute drive, but Bridge Bay only holds about 50 trucks and trailers. And there was, I think, 135 pros, so 135 boats, 90 co-anglers with that. So
Yeah.
now you're trying to park all those cars and, so.
Very difficult.
Yes,
But
it was busy.
Plus you have the actual event staff there.
Right.
Correct.
Also, and their event trailers and all that stuff.
Right.
So then you have that conversation with them, right? And then that next morning you just meet them at their times and go through all that stuff. Now you get the blast off that happens, you get to that. How was your day? Like, how did it lay out? Or not how did it lay out, but what was your experience of the day? Was there stuff you learned? Was
With
there
your
stuff
first pro.
With your first pro.
With the first pro, with the first pro, I had a really good day. Just in general, he was really friendly. As far as learning anything from him, he was more doing his own thing. But as the day went through, and I didn't have a limit, but he had the limit at that point. He was telling me, just giving me hints like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is where we're going to go. Probably should try throwing this. So that was my first day guy.
And my first day guy from Southern California, David Baker, super nice guy. Got there pretty early. It was pitch black when we came across the lake over to Bridge Bay. We kind of joked about
12:30.
being there so early, but
But you weren't late.
we were not late. And you know what? Sometimes when you just have to wait around, it's better than rushing and forgetting
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So no, we started out reaction. He had practiced a couple days before that. Practice was Wednesday, Thursday. Tournament's Friday, Saturday. Top 10 on Sunday, but we'll talk about that later because that didn't quite happen that way.
Right. So you guys started fishing. This day that we're talking about is Friday.
This is Friday morning, yeah. So we start out. He's going down the bank reaction, and that made it a little tough for me because we're parallel on the bank.
Yeah, and you can only throw from the console back.
Yeah, and we're moving down the bank pretty good clip. But I'm learning, and that's my goal was to go have fun, learn as much as I could. And I told myself I was going to just fish hard the whole day, all day, no matter what happens, and we'll just see what happens. Let the results fall where they were, right? So I struggled a bit with that because being from the club, we fished shared weight team style, right? And I mean, how many of us hey, come up on the front of the boat, we're shoulder to shoulder throwing.
Yeah.
And I knew it would be quite different. So it was quite different.
Because that's one of the rules is that you can't go up to the front of the boat unless you're trying to net his fish.
Yeah, they can't even.
First fish.
They can't even ask you to come, even if they're okay with it.
Right.
They can't ask you to come.
So
up.
that's one of BAM's rules.
It is.
Yes. So that was different. I tried to throw some reaction along with him. I threw some jigs out to the side. I thought, if he's going to fish up, I'll fish a little deeper. Try to drag some stuff behind out to the side. I had a rough day. I struggled. I did not have my first
You're kind
fish.
of out of your element, right?
Completely.
That's a lot of it is I don't know for this for sure, but I bet you day 2 you kind of know what's coming and you were able to like readjust your tactics
Yeah, and
as you're stepping into it.
you feel a little more comfortable. Like, okay, now I know what it's like.
Yeah.
I didn't catch my first fish Friday until 12:30, and about 12 o'clock, I was thinking, "Oh my God, I'm going to get skunked. This is awful." You start to hit that like point where, and I had to remind myself, have fun, learn, fish hard till we were supposed to come in at 3:20 and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I ended up catching around 2-ish, 2:30. I caught 3 more fish in a pretty short period of time, drop shotting with a wacky worm. The old Sorry Steve came through again, right? I had tried everything that day, man. I was throwing Nico rig, deep crank. I was
Deep crank.
deep
How deep?
jigs.
How deep was
Zero
it?
jigs. I was throwing jigs.
Was it from 0 to 18 feet?
It was. Yeah.
It
It was closer to the 18.
He legit. I didn't know a deep diving crank goes 0 feet, but on here it's written 0 to 18.
It does if you hold the rod tip up and reel really fast.
And you could throw it like a wake bait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You got to reel.
I like to work. I like to work that right under the surface.
He just likes to
You
scratch
probably
the
didn't need to put a 0 on there.
I probably did not.
It
Yeah.
just goes straight to 18.
Yeah.
As soon as it hits the water, it goes straight to 18, never moves.
So as I was saying, I also threw jigs.
Let's change the subject.
Yeah,
I waited for you to bring it up.
I know you did. Yeah.
Did you
Like,
catch
I knew
anything
that was
on
coming.
your 0 to 18 foot crankbait on Saturday or
Not
Friday?
on Friday. No,
Okay.
not on Friday.
That's
3/4 ounce,
funny, you know all of his crankbaits. Look at that.
3/4 ounce jigs.
Where's your other crankbaits
half
at?
ounce. Yeah. I left them at home.
Do they all say 0 to
No.
10, 0 to 3?
They won't tomorrow.
Well, we got a brake clean. Don't worry about it. It's
Exactly.
my nail polish remover. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I have to buy you more.
Yeah. What's on that black scribble over there? Oh, nothing. It adds to the allure of the bait.
Oh, man.
So what did you catch them on Friday?
So on Friday,
Mainly
really,
the Sorry Steve.
yeah, I think every fish I caught was no. The Sorry Steve caught most of my keepers. Watermelon candy, jackal flick shake. You can't get any more. 4.8.
Extinct.
I did catch a couple. When I started catching fish finally, I caught a lot of 12-inch fish, and they didn't. They had to be 13. But Pro Point fishing lures, junior bug, little crawfish on a Nico.
No, right there. Whole bag.
So on an owner head with a weedless.
Vanna's going to work. Way to go, Vanna.
And I'll tell you a quick story about those. How I got those.
Far away.
At the International Sportsman's Expo, when I met Bill O'Shin at the Bass Angler Magazine booth,
Mm-hmm.
Bill was kind enough to throw me a couple of these. He had a bag that had like 2 or 3 left, and he's like, "Hey, try these. They've been doing pretty good up there." And then he said, "Matter of fact, give me your number. I'm going to text you the number of the owner." He's all, "Call him." And I'm like, "What? Like, call the owner of a bait company? Like, who am I?" Like, so I did. I told him Bill O'Shin told me to call, and he's like, "Oh, okay." Like, the guy was actually pre-fishing that day for a tournament he was in the next day, but he actually sent them. I didn't have enough time. That's why Bill gave me the number of the guy. I didn't have enough time to order them and get them to my house.
Yeah.
So the owner, Roger, had them sent to the hotel I was staying at, and checked even that week, emailed me and said, "Hey, did you get them yet?"
Nice.
And then asked me each day how I did fishing. So yeah, I mean, what a great customer service. And
So you may not be able to do that all the time with Pro Point, but
yeah,
stand-up guy.
absolutely.
Definitely.
And they're out of it's like Central California. I think he's out of like the Morro Bay, Paso Robles area. Is where he's from. So
Enough that you looked up other baits that he makes?
yes, actually, yeah. And I will probably. So I ended up buying 4 or 5 packs, a couple of the junior. And then they make them a little bigger too. I bought some. This color's the Clear Lake Special, so I'm gonna try them all clearly.
Attempt.
They make another one that's a little bigger, so we will see.
Paul used to know wants to say, how early did your pro put a sizable fish on the boat?
My pro the first day in the first 30 minutes had 3 keepers, over 2 pounds each.
And that's good for Shasta.
On a reaction bite in the morning,
Yeah, the average bag in Shasta was like 9 to 11 pounds.
yeah, he wasn't weighing them, but he had over 7, close to 8 pounds in the first 30 minutes. And even he was shocked because in practice it hadn't been that good. So, and then he put a couple more keepers in a little later, different techniques, kind of slowed down. And then he was scoping fish and picking them off. And then, I mean, he even upgraded a few. I think he ended up with 12 something that first day.
It's not
Not
Did
bad.
you learn
horrible.
anything watching on scope?
A little. It's hard to watch that from the back.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell he's scoping and he's absolutely targeting fish. So,
But you get to look at like the setup of what he's looking.
yeah, the boat set up a couple times where we put the back of the boat and throw his poles down, but almost up on the bank.
Yeah.
Doesn't leave me much in the back because now I can't cast out back. I go up on the land, but I could cast out to the sides.
Yeah.
And he was actually pretty cool, like a little bit in front of the console at that point, like because you're so limited.
Yeah, he knows he gave you 5 foot water.
Yeah, right. So
And he's
No.
not, he's still targeting out. That's why he's doing
Correct.
that, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna intrude on his
water.
water.
yeah, no.
So what was your weight? Your weight for
Are you ready?
Friday? Yeah,
Are you sitting down?
I'm ready.
4 fish for 4.48.
That's Shasta.
Sounds like a Shasta
Yeah.
bag.
It was rough.
You had 4 fish though.
Yeah, you
I'm
could've had
sure that was.
0.
I did.
That could have been.
At noon, if I would have told you at noon,
Yeah.
hey, don't worry, buddy, by the end of the day, you're gonna have 4 fish. You'd be
Yeah.
like, yes.
At noon, yes.
Yeah, see?
Absolutely. But I had fun. I learned. And I just fish hard and kind of proves that whole thing. You know,
You never know.
if it's 3:20's weigh in, or you got to check in, right?
Yep.
We fished until like 3:05.
Yeah.
So you just never know. You can catch all 5 of those in the last 20 minutes, maybe.
How did you your day go? What were you catching them on? When did your pro put that?
So my pro put a fish in the boat really quick. I think it was on his first cast that he threw. He threw in a crankbait and got one right off a point. We ended up doing about a 30-minute cruise down one of the arms, and by the time we got down there, it was probably a little bit later than what we wanted to, but he ended up catching that first one right off the point, and then didn't get another bite for a couple minutes, and then threw a ball head with a it was like a clearish, whitish minnow across that same point, and ended up smashing like 3 of them off of that point. And then he started burning bank, and I asked him, hey, is it cool if I cast across that point again? And he goes, yeah, go ahead. So I threw a drop shot with a 4.5 morning dawn. And I caught the biggest fish that I had that day, which was a 353. So that was definitely exciting.
353 spot.
Yes.
Good spot.
So
Yeah.
Good spot.
yeah. And then just throughout the day, it was, a couple here, a couple there. I ended up catching, I think, about 10, 12 fish that day. Most of them came off of a 3/8 football jig by Kitech, the version 2. And it was in a brown and purple with that craw chigger, or the chigger craw by Berkeley. And yeah, that's what I got most of them on.
Nice. Now, when you guys went across the stage, you guys actually went up on stage, live camera, and weighed in your fish. How was that experience?
I had a blast. I was trying not to be stupid and do something like, a Ricky Bobby where he's kind of like this, I don't know what to do with my hands type deal. But yeah, I mean, they were really cool. They did most of the talking, like, kind of like you guys do with people you have on here. You know what to say, you know how to get us to talk, and it was really cool. I had a blast.
Yeah, it was the setup was nice. A little different than used to. Like you end up having a bag with a mesh bag in it. Then you pull the mesh bag into the tanks leading up to where they off the side of the stage. You really don't see it on the video, but they check all your fish, make sure they're alive,
And
And-
there's aerators in those tanks.
There's
Yeah,
aerators
yeah.
in tanks and G juice and all that. They check, make sure your fish are alive, and they're all 13 inches or longer. So
Yeah.
Then you step up right off the side of stage is another aerated water bin, and then up on the stage. Yeah, I got up. They asked, you got 5 fish? I said, no, I thought it was a 4 fish limit. He's like, no, it's not.
He didn't even laugh at you?
Yeah, I think he laughed a little bit.
All right.
Yeah.
all right.
Got my receipt for my 448. Woo! Moving on. Now the process was good though, but they treat everybody really well, and I mean, they going up on the stage and all that's pretty cool, right? And it's
Yeah.
live, people watching it. There was
YouTube famous.
probably
Yeah.
30 people in the crowd out there watching. So yeah, it was kind of like you were big time.
Right?
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Felt like you should put some stickers on your.
Yeah.
All right, so and did you guys stay around and wait for the weigh-in, or because you guys launched at a different ramp, did you guys get back with your pro right away? And
Yeah.
Yeah, it was basically we
Way and back to the boat.
yeah, we waited for the bags at the dock, got the bags, put our fish in, went up, sat with, those little buckets of water, had the fish in, went bucket to bucket, got up on the stage, weighed the fish, went back down to the dock, dumped the fish in their little release boat, and then went back, and that was it.
that was it.
They had the good setup when you come off the stage, because you just have a mesh bag.
Mesh
Yep.
bag full of fish.
The bags, the solid bag, they take away before you go through, and then afterwards they're sitting back there with water in them.
Ready to go.
Dump your mesh bag into that, walk over to the thing. They had side by sides taking people up and down the ramp. You ride down the ramp, and you had to walk to the end of the ramp to the. They have a release boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you walk them down there, they take them all, and you're done. I mean, the
Yeah, and
process.
then in that release boat, they're checking is the air bled, is the
Yep.
Yeah.
they're checking all that stuff.
Oh yeah, they were releasing
Health
like
of the
really
fish
healthy
before they
fish right there,
release
and then they were fizzing fish there and all kinds of stuff. But the process was really smooth and very professional. And then yeah, we ended up heading back to the ramp with our pros pretty quick after that.
And then in that time frame, they text you like shortly after, or who your next pro is going to be. Like, how long did that take to get that
I
next?
think I got that as we came in. That
Yeah, I
day.
think
At
we were-
weigh-in, I knew who it was.
Yeah, we were either coming in or we were sitting at the weigh-in, and we
Yeah.
were getting text messages saying who we were paired up with the next day.
All right. And
So
then
how much, when all said and done, how much time did you have? Like, by the time that process is all done, how much time did you have before it was like, were you just going straight to dinner, straight to bed, or did you actually have like a little bit of leeway time where you could
I think we
retie and stuff like that?
went back to the hotel and then went to dinner. Didn't we?
Yeah, we went back to the hotel, dropped our stuff off, and
Yeah.
kind of cleaned up, and then went grabbed dinner and went back to the hotel and retied.
Retied. I got rid of one rod. I was only going to try and take 6 that next day. A little easier to manage.
Also, how did the next day go? This would be Saturday.
So Saturday did not go because the winds were sustained at like 25, 30, and the gusts were upwards of 50.
50, yeah.
So they just shot you a text saying you're not going tomorrow.
Yeah,
When did they
yeah.
shot that in the morning? I'm sure,
Both.
or at night.
So in the evening, they just sent it out like, hey, we're continuing to monitor it. We're, obviously they're going to try and fish because they're going to full field on Saturday, top 10 on Sunday. They want to do it that way. And they kept us updated. And then basically the last one in early evening was, we will be making a decision at 5:15 a.m.
I like that. Being like, we're making a decision at
Yeah.
this time. There's no
Oh
questions.
no, it was, and
That's-
their process of texting you and all, even prior to us getting there, like when you sign up, they let you know that you're signed up. We know, and they send you
like all confirmations.
they send you forms to fill out. Boaters have a few more, but the co-anglers, you got to fill out like your W-9, so in case you win some money. Uncle Sam gets his.
Somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
Old Newsom's got to get his cut.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Like everything, it was a super simple process. It was very
Very streamlined.
yeah, and very professional, timely.
Yep.
So
So,
Yeah.
so at
So-
5 o'clock,
so we get up,
5:15
we're ready to roll. We kind of both of our pros, we were in a later flight that day. I was coming in, I think we weren't until 7 o'clock.
Yeah, we
were
weren't launching
7.
until like 7:40, 7:30.
Yeah, it was pretty late.
Yeah.
So they had like an hour ahead of us for flights, and he was behind me. So we got up, we were ready at 5 o'clock to hit it. We didn't load the truck yet. And I think we put our rods in and that was it. And then we got the text that the day was canceled.
Yep.
So
what do you do?
Actually, wait.
That's a good question.
hotel breakfast.
What was your bag on Saturday or
Yeah.
Friday? We never asked.
978. And
Yeah,
then
Eric did well.
I think I ended up in 27th that day.
Yeah.
Which was very cool.
I know you said big fish, but I don't remember you saying
353,
Yeah.
978.
Nice.
So what did you guys do on Saturday then?
Well, we got into some trouble.
Well, no, immediately
Yes,
hotel breakfast.
yes. We had the egg discs
The egg disc.
and the sausage patties.
Yeah.
From Best Sure Stay
Nice.
in Reading.
Little poor man's egg McMuffin.
Yeah.
Hey, was it free?
It was free.
Yes.
It was free.
Free's for me.
My favorite price.
All right. And then, so now how did you get in trouble?
We went to the local pro shop. It was Phil's Propellers or Phil's Props.
Oh,
prop.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Never been there. That was good.
Been there multiple times.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I've brought my props there
It
multiple
is.
times.
It is
Really?
the only
Yeah.
place I will take my props.
Yes.
they were definitely very, very nice.
Super friendly in
Yeah.
there.
Laid back. Yeah.
Very
Decent
much so.
prices.
Yeah.
I was trying to not to buy too much.
Yeah, there's a
I've
good
already brought
selection.
everything.
Definitely a good
And we had
selection.
deliveries.
Eric had a shopping cart. I think it was full.
I was doing the shopping cart.
I was like,
They don't even have.
what
a
else are
shopping
you
cart.
getting?
He brought it from the 99-cent store.
Yeah.
With the little pole and everything.
Right.
No, I've taken, every time I've spun my prop, I've taken them to Phil's prop and they fixed my prop for me. And pretty fast too.
Yeah.
They're definitely good.
Yeah, I've tried other places. They're the only ones I will go to for blade work.
It's pretty funny because we figured we would, but everybody that pulled in the parking lot, everybody was fishing BAM and they were figuring out what they were going to do on Saturday now that it's been canceled.
Right?
Okay, so Sunday rolls around. You're back with the same angler, right? They didn't realign you with anybody, right?
They did not.
Originally
Unless
had their
unless
same.
somebody
So I think it was a possibility because they had asked, some people if they were going to leave or want to come in. They were going to open weigh-ins early on Sunday because the whole field was fishing. They were going to open them at noon. So if you if you weren't doing good, you wanted to come in anytime after
Start
noon,
heading home.
you
Yeah.
could start heading home. So we ended up, neither one of ours, we didn't change.
Mhm.
We had the pro that they had already assigned us.
So you guys, so what I'm hearing is you fished your first BAM tournament and you made it day 3.
We made it day 3.
we did.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
We did.
Yes.
All right, well, let's go over day 3 then. How'd day 3 go?
Day 2 actually.
I'll let you start on this one.
So I had been assigned Jake Boomer. I don't know if you guys.
You got Boomer.
He's owns Alpha Angler Rods. I had actually met him.
He actually has a podcast that he just recently started.
Yes, the Alpha Bass Cast.
Yep.
It's actually
Alpha
really
Bass
good.
Cast. I definitely should. If you're watching this, you should be watching that also.
Yeah, they're good.
Not right now though.
So, so I mentioned on the phone, hey, we met, and I was part of the Bass Readers Club because we had talked about that at the Sportsman's Expo. And he's like, oh yeah, because he remembered Irving and I, because we talked to him about maybe coming when he's down to the Delta, maybe coming to one of our meetings. So it was actually kind of a funny story. I joked. He said, hey, listen, I'm staying at Bridge Bay. My boat's in a slip. I'll meet you be at the end of the dock where we launch. So I'm out there waiting. It was freezing that morning. And I'm there a little. Eric dropped me off, was very helpful with driving me around, dropped me off because he was going over to Packers Bay. So he dropped me off at the Bridge Bay Marina. I carry all my gear down to the dock. What a mess. That's one thing I learned. I'm going to lessen that, how much I have to carry. Stood on the dock for about half an hour, just waiting. And I had joked with him that I was going to have a sign that I will fish for food or fish for, whatever. I said, no, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put your name on a card like they do at the airport. So I did. I got some cardboard that we had, borrowed a pen from the hotel lobby. And as
That's
he
awesome.
rolled up, he yells my name. He's like, Jeff. He's probably 30 feet away. And I hold up the cardboard. It says Jake Boomer. he started cracking up. He's like, "You actually did it?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have a good day." And I will say that guy was the utmost professional. He was super helpful. We had a great day. We waited like an hour before blast off. So my day started, it started out kind of bad actually. We're waiting in the boat. I was kind of fixing some rods, and then I looked back at one point at the rod locker behind the passenger seat, and I realized one of my rods, the tip is in there. And I'm like, oh, please just be bent in there.
Never.
No. My about month-old Dobbins 702 spinner rod with the first eye missing now, like down. So it's not a 702 anymore. It's like a 692. I fished with it that day, but I was like, I broke it. It was halfway. I broke it down to the eye. I'm like, what am I going to do now, right? Like,
Matlock's used to dealing with something this
right? Yeah, I mean, 3/4, whatever.
It still works.
So
did you catch any fish on that rod?
I did not.
Oh.
No.
You gotta break in a new rod.
I did fish it that day though, because that was my drop shot rod. I had the drop shot set up on that. Like that's gonna be the drop shot rod, right? So, no, we actually went and hit our first spot, and it was first or second cast. I can't remember. He was starting off reaction, so I thought I will too. 0 to 18 tactical bass or river to sea tactical bass and crank, deep crank.
Covers all the feet.
Do they
Not
make them
just
in
the
like
bottom.
2 to 18 feet?
Yeah, they might.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll write that on there for you.
There
But,
actually crankbaits that have 2 to whatever written.
I catch a pretty good sized fish. Even Jake was kind of excited for me. He's like, "Man, that is a great fish." I'm like, "Yeah, 377 spot." So I'm thinking,
tank spot. And the whole time when we're sitting there going, dang it.
so I had to laugh. I watched their podcast about the Shasta thing, and he mentions his going catching that, and he laughs. He says, because he didn't tell me this that day, but he said that's the biggest spot that's been in his boat on Shasta Lake ever. And actually, it was funny. I actually apologized for catching him. I'm like, man, because I caught a pretty big fish, and he did. And he's like, "No, dude, I cast it out the back, like at a 45-degree out the back, across a point."
He's already passed it.
Yeah, we had passed this point. I just threw across it and got really lucky. And but so I'm excited. Like this day is way better than day one, right?
Yeah.
That was
you got almost your whole day one weight in one fish.
That was the only fish I caught that day. It was a rough day, but I still had fun. I actually learned a lot. Jake and I had a lot of conversations. He was very open to me asking questions of why he was doing things a certain way, or when we were getting ready to move, like, what's your thought process on this? And
That's cool.
so he was super helpful.
That's great.
That's really cool.
It is, right?
That,
I
you
mean,
don't, as the pro side, you do not have to do that at all.
no, and he was very open to it, so it was nice. I mean, even at the end, he was like, "Hey, you got my number now. Like, call me if you need anything, questions, whatever." So that was the other thing that Eric and I talked about going up there was just the like marketing yourself or the networking and meeting some of these people for future. Like when you go to future events, you're going to have your reputation, right? So that you want to be known like, hey, this guy's a decent co-angler. He's not going to throw up in front of you.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, there definitely is talk on both sides, boaters
Right.
and co's,
yeah,
of who's good, who's not.
absolutely.
Who's good with this, who's good with that.
So and Jake did pretty good. I mean, he had his 5, but he struggled that day. They weren't big. I think he ended up with like 9 something that day. But all in all, I still had a good time. I learned a lot, and then you just get that first one under your belt. You kind of know the process or the logistics of it now, right? So, how about your day 2?
Yeah, my day 2, I struggled pretty significantly compared to day 1.
I think most of the field struggled.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that weather just, whatever it did to them, it did it pretty good. So all of the ones that I caught, actually a couple of them, I caught a 1/4 ounce frenzy nail with the Fatty Z sprayed grass.
you're welcome.
And like I tell Jeff, they're like the sprayed grass, Jeffrey.
Who told you to get this?
So yeah, that was a pretty good pickup that we had from Phil's Props. Jeff and I, we were talking about all this stuff that we'd either seen pros throw or stuff that we heard working for other people. So I picked that up. I caught I think 2 or 3 fish on that, and then the rest of them were again on that 3/8 ounce football jig from Kitech, brown purple with the chigger craw again. So
What'd you end up with that day?
that day, I think I ended up with 783 or something like that. So it took me a while to get a limit, but I did get it. My pro struggled significantly. He ended up with, I think, 3 fish for like 8 pounds. So, I mean, he caught the
That's
right
actually
ones. He caught the right ones, but
Those aren't bad fish.
Not bad.
That's the right bite.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
But-
the right bite. Just
basically that was
yeah.
all that he caught. I mean, he caught a couple of smaller dates, but
What's on the bigger fish pattern?
yeah,
Sometimes-
definitely.
Sometimes you have to grind out the bigger fish pattern if you're trying to come back from lower in the field.
Right.
Who knows where he was on day one.
He struggled. I think he was at the bottom.
Yeah, so he had kind of had to make a play for it if you want to get check range.
So Paul's asking a question. Was there any of the rules of what you can wear, like what you could represent? Could you
Badging or
wear?
anything before you walked across the stage.
Yeah. Could you wear your Bass Reaper stuff? And
I think you guys were wearing your Bass.
I had my
Reaper.
Bass
At least your
Reaper's
hats
hat.
on.
I had a Bass Reaper hat on.
Yeah. Nothing that we read or nothing that.
I think I saw in the rules, obviously, like you can't wear anything that's like offensive or anything like that.
Yeah.
I will say there was guys, from, I just had like a plain sweatshirt on and bibs because it was freezing cold. But a lot of even the co-anglers, some of the top co-anglers, they have their full jerseys with sponsor names and all that.
Over their sweatshirts and jackets.
Yeah, or
and
their
everything.
sweatshirt is that, right?
Yeah,
like they have them made into sweatshirts as well.
Yeah, there's pros who have like shirts that are a larger size to go over their sweatshirts
Yeah.
and stuff, or they just get the sweatshirts that are their jerseys.
Yeah.
It's like a printed sweatshirt.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't think they'd have a problem if you were representing your club. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
so, if you guys had to pay the entry fee, and everything, actually, that's probably a horrible question.
Was it all worth it in the end?
Yes.
Is what he's asking.
I thought
Was
it
it
was. I thought it was the experience. It was definitely worth it.
Well, they
for
did
me.
say they would do it again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even if I think I had to pay the $385 for it,
It's $385 to fish it.
$385 for a co-angler. Yeah. So.
And then $50 a day. For
Yeah.
gas. Right.
Yeah.
So all in all, with lodging, gas, it was a trip, right? You're driving to Shasta, which is 4 hours.
No.
2.5,
3-ish?
3.
2.5 to 3.
3 and change. Oh, you're not towing a boat.
I'm not talking
Right.
about.
So
Yeah.
3, yeah, you're not towing a boat. I didn't even factor that. So all in all, it's $1,000 weekend, probably less than 1,000.
Probably less than
Yeah,
that.
less than 1,000.
If you're with counting Phil's prop.
Well,
You're all, hey,
you guys
let's
did
leave that out
share.
there.
You guys did share a hotel room, right?
Yeah.
We did. One single twin bed.
It was a king.
Yeah, it was King Wheel.
I guess they did share.
We need wrestling room.
Jeez. Jeff likes to roll around.
Was,
Yeah.
was there a pillow wall or?
You want to go to the next tournament?
Yeah.
How interesting.
Let's go.
All of a sudden,
I
it's worth-
I
all of a
actually,
sudden it's worth the 3
Yeah.
now.
I remember I actually talked to you about. I was like, well, maybe. And then I was like, oh, it's this weekend. There's no way I can. It was like Monday when I was talking to you, and then I was like, there's no way I can take off Thursday and have Friday.
Yeah, we went up.
I would have brought an air mattress and not slept with.
We didn't.
with King.
We didn't practice at all on Thursday. We got up there
Yeah.
by noon, 1
We were up there
We got there a
about
little
Only
early.
halfway through the night, all of a sudden your air mattress deflates.
Which one of you guys did it?
Yeah. And knowing both of you guys, I think would both like it. It's different. It is. Yeah. I made sure.
Myself, I would go just for boat positioning, thought process.
Right.
Like if I got a chance to be on like Boomer's boat,
Yeah.
I'd probably bring one rod and just watch him all day.
Sit down, watch.
Yep.
But that's like
Like,
what Brian was saying, right? I mean, you're basically paying for a guy.
Yeah. That's like Todd Castledine talks about in one of his videos.
Yeah.
He goes, the best co-angler I ever got. He's like telling this story, right? Well, he shows up to the dock and the guy shows up with a paper bag, no rods, no nothing, and like a water bottle or something like that. And the guy's like, you need to like go get your stuff? And he goes, nope, I'm good. And then he's like, what, you're not gonna, and he goes, nope, as soon as I knew it was you, I ain't doing nothing but sitting here eating my food and watching you. And he's like, all right, cool. He goes, I didn't have to worry about him casting anywhere. He never got hung up the whole day.
Right.
I mean,
Don't get hung up because
but
they weren't
that's-
going back.
But that's
going
seizing
back.
an opportunity.
I didn't even ask.
Right.
I just
Yeah, that's
broke off.
seizing an
sometimes.
opportunity at that point because the guy got Todd Castledine during a bedfish tournament when he's known for bed fishing.
Yeah.
Like I would,
You're going to be in trouble.
I myself, I don't care if I paid $1,000 to fish that day.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing a rod.
Right.
But yeah, like you break off stuff like that. Like you
You just have to go in. I make sure, we talk, you got to go in with a little different mentality of like, listen, I may struggle a lot, but if I still have fun and learn, like it's going to be worth it. So, and I struggled and learned.
and you're only fishing against everyone else who's just as in the same situation as you.
Right.
I don't even want to say handicapped because they're not really handicapped.
No, so
If you're-
yes,
if you're a
co-anglers-
good co-angler, you can run it basically.
Oh, yeah.
And being a boat owner, there are definitely some backseaters, co-anglers that you're like, oh yeah, I want that one today, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
even
in the
in
team
the-
atmosphere,
in
they're
the-
different.
but
There
even
are
in a
co-anglers.
club atmosphere, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's a great thing. Bass Union jumped on.
Oh,
What's
nice.
going on? He said it was definitely fun.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Great time out there. He did pretty well, I think.
He
He's all right, I think,
he was
yeah.
doing pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another one of those people that fish in that Oroville, that Shasta. You want to basically pay attention to what he's doing.
Yeah, if I got Bass Union at Shasta,
Yeah.
I, again, would probably bring one rod.
Yeah.
Gutierrez on bring one rod.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
those guys that you
Yep.
get that opportunity with
Yeah,
that are
he's
known
probably
for
fishing
that.
shaking
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think Joe too. I was thankful that they just had the one bass up there at Shasta, and they had 3 or 4 days straight of rain,
Yeah.
all before and during practice. I think
Yeah,
it
they were
was-
saying it was coming up like 6 feet a day or something.
It came
Which,
up
I mean,
over-
Shasta does that.
It came up over like 10, 13 feet or something, and then they also had snow during the tournament.
Yeah.
It looked brutal conditions.
It
So
looked cold.
it looked chilly.
You glad
Yeah.
you didn't fish that one?
I'm glad I didn't miss that one.
Hey, that would have been shared weight though.
Yeah, that's
It would have been shared weight. And I did look into them. They're about the same price. They're like, I want to say all in for a co is like $410.
Yeah.
But it is shared weight with a different pro each day.
Yeah. And if you
Yeah.
actually look at the co shared weight for them, it was like winning weight was 55.90 something, and then the co's shared weight was 55 flat or something like that. Like they was
Yeah.
within a pound or two of the pro. Just that person just probably ended up on the right boats each day to
Yeah.
be able to put together that. So that whoever that co was learned a lot that
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
I think, for me, fishing something like that, Shasta's kind of it's in our wheelhouse for what we do, but it's a little bit out just because
But there's a lot of things you can take from Shasta and relate to the Narrows, like you guys mentioned.
Yeah.
You could relate to Malones. You could relate to a lot of these other lakes.
Yeah.
Just from that, or Oroville.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why Bass Union does so good at all those spotted bass deep fisheries.
Yeah.
Because they relate to each other.
True that.
So May 30th through June 1st is the Pro-Am on the Delta out of Big
Big
Break.
Break.
You don't have to drive as far.
That's still running though.
We're both fishing it.
We're both fishing it. Already signed up.
Yeah.
You guys should get in there. May 30th through June 1st. So I think that it's the 31st. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So the 29th will be the Thursday. Are you
I'm
here?
on call. I'm on call.
See the wheels turning over there.
I don't know.
First.
We'll drag you with us.
Maybe I'd have to talk to that one that's probably watching right now.
I was waiting for her to comment.
I'm waiting for her to comment. I
The
know
hell
she's
you are.
right there. Yeah. Fishing the Pro Tour.
Big John says definitely a lack of luck of the draw in the shared weight format.
Definitely, right?
Yeah, and that's always the big debate.
And that one
right?
you can actually come onto the front deck with the guy if the guy invites you.
Yes.
You can come onto the front deck
Yeah.
with them, so you really get to learn. Like you'd actually get to watch. Could potentially watch what's going on.
Well, it could be luck of the draw too with, not shared weight too, right? I mean, you
Yes.
could have a guy that's on a really good bite, and then the next day you could draw somebody who calls you up and says, I'm not on any bite, sorry, let's go have fun.
Or just their style of fishing too.
That too.
I mean, if the fishing down the bank was a little tough, dragging something behind. But we talked to a couple of different co-anglers on the Saturday. We met a couple guys at Phil's Prop and gave us.
There's a theme.
I got Eric to stop for a minute from pushing his shopping cart and actually talk to some guys.
Hey, he needed a breather. It was
Yeah. I mean, he was so tired from loading all those baits in. No, they actually were really helpful on some techniques to use from the back of the boat
Yeah.
that I hadn't thought of.
I wouldn't even thought it.
Yeah, there is a whole dynamic to being a co-angler on, like, just your thoughts. I've actually wanted to get like a live video and just pull like co-anglers in and just let them bounce off of each other.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that you're doing now. In our format, you can throw anywhere.
Right.
Versus where you guys are restricted.
Yeah.
Like it would be good if I knew coworkers that did that where they could do the restriction part of it.
So I never even thought of this because I was thinking more like I'm going to be fishing jigs, shaky heads, bouncing stuff on the bottom, drop anything I was going to drag, right? Because if I can throw straight out and let it drag behind the boat, I can figure that out hopefully. Or if they're stopped, I can then maybe readjust and do some reaction bait stuff out there. Never thought of throw a jerk bait out the back, let a bunch of line out. Now you can't troll because that's in the rules, but rules are interpreted, right?
As long as you're reeling.
If I reel or I jerk bait every once in a while, I'm no longer trolling, right? And I was like, I would have never thought that. Guys talked about swim baits, throwing S-waver out the back and letting line out so you get a long retrieve and
You wait for the boat presence to be gone. And
you can let
that is a risky one at that far away with spotted bass though.
right?
Like you're not getting a lot of those in the.
But it's something to think about that was totally different than I had even thought about prior to the tournament.
Yeah, because so in like a lot of fishing, you're thinking, okay, the boat's right here. All the fishing happens in front of you.
Yeah.
But then
That's
in
what we're
that
used to.
co-angler world, your world starts at the console and it goes as far as your line can reach.
Correct.
Technically.
And sometimes
It's just flipping the view of what your options are.
and sometimes it does take that casting completely away from the boat to catch a fish if they're boat shy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if you're letting line out, everybody can cast the farthest.
And here's the other thing. I think we all know like bass live up shallow still, even during the winter, but there's always, if the guy's running down the bank and you throw out to 20 or 30 feet away from the bank, there's going to be fish there. Just, hopefully you can get on them.
Especially like Shasta and spotted bass.
Right.
They may not be large, they may not be whatever, but you're still getting bit.
Yeah.
You could probably turn around and cast into the depths at the console length and let that count down and still catch them.
Right.
Where it's landing in 80 foot, 100 foot, whatever. They'll just pick it up on the way down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like you guys had a great time.
Oh
You
yeah.
guys doing when is the next BAM Pro-Am?
So the next one, the
Is-
next Pro-Am is February 28th to March 2nd on Don Pedro.
Which is
2 weeks.
2 weeks from now.
Yes. So a week after our club tournament at Clear Lake. And I've heard Don Pedro's been fishing really well.
It has been.
We've been pulling out
Yes.
some big bass out of it.
Don Pedro is a really good lake.
I've never fished that one either.
It's like 3 lakes in one.
Is it set up kind of like Shasta too, part of it?
It's kind of so like it's like this kind of like this like ravine canal, and then it has a little connector to another ravine canal and a little connector to another one, and then there's a creek arm that runs up that one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of got a little bit of everything, and each one of those sections have different structure inside of them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like he's saying, there's three
different
this is a
lakes.
lake, this is a lake, this is a lake, and you get a bonus creek. So like there's a lot to it. Like the first time that we went there, I was like, I don't even know how to break this down. Like I went on Google Maps and started like listing all of that stuff and like making waypoints. I made like 100 or 200 waypoints, and I wasn't even done with the lake and was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Almost like you need to fish a few times up there and just like focus in one area.
Yeah, and that's basically what I did was pick out one of the pools. Like
Yeah.
just in pre-fishing, I figured out which pool kind of had a bigger population of fish, and then focused on that pool.
Right.
Rachel asked, what's in it for her? You could go watch the weigh-ins live. You could be there with us.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, you could
Yeah.
go stay in
Travel trip.
You could go stay in Oakley.
You could stay at
Sponsor of the-
Copperopolis.
Oh no, this
No,
is
say
the
Don
Delta.
Pedro.
Yeah, for Don Pedro.
Chicken Ranch.
That's
Oh, I
far
thought she
from
was talking about
Copperopolis.
the Delta. when we were
She is talking about the Delta.
There's a what's that casino down there?
Chicken Ranch.
Chicken Ranch.
That's
Yeah, you can go to Chicken Ranch,
they
It's,
actually have
and they're sponsored.
a discount
Yeah.
for BAM anglers that weekend.
Yep.
If anybody out there wants to fish it and share a room, maybe, or share expenses, I could probably sell that to my wife after a club tournament. That's the problem. I got a tournament the weekend before, and then I was going to try and fish Don
then you go to
Pedro.
South Carolina right after that.
Yeah, I got a big trip to South Carolina for like 5 weeks.
Wesley Jones says Clear Lake is the best co-angler lake. You could catch fish in any direction and have a chance to catch big fish, right?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one
I
good
think
thing
so.
about like is Clear Lake is that there is no 100-foot water.
Yeah.
No.
So it doesn't matter where you get put,
Right.
you can always do something.
Yeah.
And those fish are like, they will stack up underneath the boat. So if you're out there scoping in the middle of nowhere and they're out there, like you can just drop straight down. The fish there's still fish under you.
Yeah, and even if the guy's up shallow and he's pitching to different stuff, you could probably now, actually it's probably even better, probably 360 degrees around the boat. If he's up shallow, you're going to have stuff to pitch to also.
Yeah,
If he's
there's
up
a
in the
lot of
weeds or,
there's a lot of fish from the dock ends deeper,
yeah.
and they're gonna be nosed up into there, and like, you know, bed fishing time. The big mamas are behind you if you're up there looking at the baits.
So Don Pedro's next.
So Don Pedro Pro-Am, and then the end of May is the Delta Pro-Am, and that's it.
So there's only 3 pro-ams.
3 Pro-Ams for their Western division. They do have,
They don't have do they have a TOC?
yes, it's at Lake Almanor.
But you have to fish the first 3 in order to get to the
You have to
TOC.
fish all 3 of the Western series. And then they also have a Pacific Northwest, which was also Shasta. That was both
Yeah, and then it goes
things
up.
were there.
Potholes.
They go to Potholes and
Washington.
Columbia River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you do a traveler's thing, you just need to do 4 of all the events. 4 of the 5, I think you can qualify for the TOC.
I wouldn't mind fishing the Columbia River at some point in time.
I have fished potholes at one point. It was for walleye, but I have fished potholes. I've caught. Oh, actually, I think I caught a smallmouth too. Caught a smallmouth and a walleye.
I think in the coming years, we'll probably get a little further into it. I know I will. So,
Yeah, and then we're working their Super 60 series they're starting this year where it's just a pro solo.
Yeah, no co-angler.
No co-angler. That's what we're working. I think we're helping at
have to.
I think we're going to go down to Lake Mojave and help them down by Laughlin, Nevada. That's in May, early May. The Delta, they're on the Delta for the Super 60 in October. And November, they have their TOC at Clear Lake. And that was one of the things that when I talked to their tournament director, I was like, so how does this work? Like if I'm trying to work off my entry fee, all these pro-ams are before. Do I pay and then you're going to like reimburse me, or they go, no, we're going to take your word for it.
That's cool.
You said
And,
it's your reputation on the line. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you try to do it again, and they're gonna be like,
oh no, that was,
Yeah.
and I said, you won't worry about, I'm gonna be there to work, but yeah, basically if you like don't work for them, don't ever sign up again.
yeah,
You
pretty
won't,
much.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
gonna burn.
your name's
yeah,
burned.
you're gonna
You
burn
burn
your
yourself,
name. So,
yeah.
yeah, which would be dumb, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And you don't want to do it in this
Especially if you got to check out of it.
environment or, yeah.
yeah, no, and their organization's great. I mean, it's just overall, we've had
You know, the
really
whole
positive
the
experience.
whole thought process of building that team, that unity,
Network.
that network. This is a great opportunity to do that, right? Getting different pros.
Yeah,
And you mesh together, and you'll have a ton of people you can bounce stuff off of
yeah.
in the future.
No, and you know, it's like a lot of things, even at a smaller level, our club's that way, right?
Right.
Like everybody helping each other out.
Camaraderie.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that on a bigger scale, which was really cool.
Yeah.
So I had a overall, I think we both did, and we had just a great time. We played mini golf on
We
Saturday.
did. We had a very competitive game of mini
Yeah,
golf.
you won. You beat me. We were gonna do some
I sandbagged.
we were gonna do some axe throwing, but it was closed.
We were.
We're trying to find time to things to do to kill the day,
Eli wins. Jeff's like, we should start throwing some axes.
Yeah. No.
Wait about that.
Eric, move up a little bit.
Yeah.
Put this apple on your head.
Hold your hand out there. I'm gonna win.
Yeah. We had a great time.
We had a great time.
It was really good.
Anything else? Any other honorable mentions or anything like that?
Just honorable mention to Michael Bray, Mark Lassane, my pros, Mark Borges and Ron Wiseman. Again, my boaters were very kind, very friendly.
Yeah, both my boaters, David and then Jake, were great both days. Mark Lassane, Michael Bray, they were awesome. All the pros they talked to were great. My wife and Eric's wife, Caritha.
Yes, thank you.
Denise and Caritha for letting us go. Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel, for letting me go in the future.
Yes, thank you, Rachel.
Yeah.
Preemptive, thank you.
And I'm sure she'll be like, yeah, no problem. I just need your credit card and chicken ranch.
Yeah, she'll say what's in it for me again.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, she's already knows. She's going to Chicken Ranch with his credit card.
There you go.
Discounted rooms that weekend. I've already looked them up.
Yeah.
You want to go? I need to share a room. Yeah.
Maybe.
It's only
I
a
mean, you
couple
can get a
weeks away.
queen size if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean-
Downsize a little.
Yeah. You want to snuggle?
A little closer.
Is it going to be cold?
He wants a
Absolutely.
roll-in-
I'll turn the AC down.
What's one of those little trumble
He wants an
beds?
empty room with a roll-in twin.
Yes.
Wow.
You're squeaking.
Wow.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's food time.
Yeah, it is definitely
Yeah.
a good time.
I'm hoping this helped anybody who's considering doing the co-angler side. Answers any questions, resolves any of that stuff, kind of like a rundown on that. Jeff, Eli, definitely appreciate you guys coming and talking.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Eli is YouTube famous
Yeah.
on there, and he also made it on the news from that.
Yep.
From them covering that. He's the guy in the boat that's
My hair.
doing that. Yeah.
It's on the Bass Angler Magazine
It was.
channel, right?
Yep.
So, and on,
So he's pretty much pro now.
I don't know about pro. Let's
Yeah.
we'll be honest. Not pro,
10 years from now, 5 years from now,
but I'm
you'll
definitely
be able to
getting
look
better.
back and be like, that was me.
I'm definitely getting better, and it's all your guys' help, club's help.
JT Dub, what's happening?
What's happening? If you guys do have any questions for them, or from that, you could always reach out to my Instagram and ask them, and I can hook you up with their Instagrams, or just ask them the question.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if they're interested in coming down with us, we
Yeah.
we carpool, we could, do hotel rooms or whatever.
And like you said, like they said already, they reached out to pros, and they were receptive also and very helping. So just let you know that there are other options if you want to go out from there. All in all, I mean, I'm thinking about it. It's probably going to be on my on-call weekend every time too. That's just how it works.
They got the kayak series too.
And if you're thinking about it, do it. Pull the trigger and do it.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's worth it,
It
definitely.
was worth it.
Again, if you have any questions, you can ask them down below. Hit me up on Instagram. And Vaca
Fairfield
Dixon.
Sassoon.
Yes, JT
Yes.
is your club located in the Vaca Dixon area? Yes, it is. We're Fairfield Sassoon, but a lot of our guys are Vacaville, Dixon, Fairfield.
Yeah.
Turlock. We have a guy from Nevada.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We have a spread of that, but most of our lakes are going to be centered around that Fairfield, Vacaville, kind of as a base point of driving from.
Yeah.
And again, you can hit me up on Instagram for that also if you're interested in the club.
Yep.
That's pretty much it, guys. We're going to go find some food. So until next time, I hope you get them.